We're in the 12voltnews.com studios, and we're going to be speaking with Ron Jibanin. And Ron handles a lot of the media and special events for Escort and Beltronics. And right now, Ron is down in El Paso at the annual Speed Measurement Labs tests, where they actually field test all the brands of radar detectors. Are you there, Ron?
I am. I'm out here in the southwest United States. How you doing, Mike?
I'm doing great. Well, how are the test runs going for Beltronics and Escort there in the Ford Fusion?
Well, good news for all of our listeners, and especially those who use those products. We're doing real well. Today, we're actually on the super long-range test at Sierra Blanca, Texas, which is a range that goes out to 13 miles, and we're doing real well on reception on that range.
Well, it sounds like this is real-world testing for all the X, K, KA laser, and also the new roadside and stoplight cameras, red light cameras.
We try to replicate anything that the detectors are going to be put in a real situation in the cockpit of our consumers' cars, which are your listeners. For example, yesterday, we actually took a ride through the city streets of El Paso, an obstacle course that laid out a certain number of red light camera intersections, and the detectors with the GPS red light detection capability had to perform to that test. The good news, again, for Beltronics and Escort, we aced that test, saw all the red light camera intersections alerted appropriately. But again, that's a real-world sample of what's being done here in the testing.
It really is. You know, when I was down at that test, I guess 3 or 4 years ago now, there wasn't such a thing as red light cameras and roadside cameras for radar detection.
No, that's relatively new and still in its growth phase. In fact, we like to tell our sales folks when they're talking with consumers that the number of red light cameras and speed cameras going into play on the roads every year is the fastest growing threat to drivers. That is to say, the number of red light cameras is more than doubling every 18 months. So that's a significant threat and growing.
It really is. You know, I was talking to Everett Morris a couple of days ago, and Everett said that each year for the last 3 years, over 55 million tickets have been written.
Yes, Mike, you know, more important for your listeners to know, take that statistic, recognize there are 200 million drivers in the U.S. That means that 1 in 4 of your listeners, 1 in 4 drivers will receive a ticket this year. That doesn't even include the red light traffic camera tickets. So, no question, all of that's about revenue. Local municipalities are under duress to generate revenue. Ticketing is a very serious form of revenue generation, so ticketing is here to stay, which means your listeners got to take some form of protection because the threats are growing, they're not receding. It
certainly sounds like driving protected is something anymore that drivers need to really look at.
Well, it's a way of saving some money. It's keeping the money in your pocket instead of paying that unfair form of tax in the way of a speeding ticket or red light traffic ticket.
Well, that's certainly true, not to mention the increase that may happen with your insurance rates and things. So it looks like the Escort drive into summer and the Beltronics Rock and Roll promotions might be right on time for this threat to drivers today.
Yeah, everybody understands there are longer road trips in the summertime, and we have released on both brands the single largest promotion that we've ever done in the company's history. So folks need to go online, give us a call, whatever, go to their local retailer. Escort, drive into summer, Beltronics Rock and Roll, $50 in accessories, free accessories with the purchase of any major detector from the lines. Just a way to introduce people if they've never used a detector or used one of our brand detectors. It's a way to introduce them and bring them in and thank them for doing so.
Well, that's great. Well, Ron, I know you are busy on the schedule down there, so we appreciate you taking the time with us, and we will talk to you very soon.
Mike, thanks very much, and definitely thank you to the listeners and all of our customers.
Absolutely. Will you stay cool down there in El Paso?
We'll try. As long as the products perform hot, I'll be cool.
No doubt.
Right,
hey,
smart.
That's great. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Take care. Bye. And there you have it, as Ron is actually out on a test right now from the Speed Measurement Lab annual event in El Paso. From the 12voltnews.com studios, Mike Van Horn.